In the last video, we have added a Firebase user state variable to our landing page so that we can decide which page to show inside the build method. What we want to do now is to provide a way for the sign-in page to tell our landing page when we have signed in. And the way we are going to do this is by using a simple callback. Now, before I continue, I want to make one thing clear. In Flutter, there are various techniques to make sure that when an event happens inside one widget, then another widget updates itself. And these techniques all have their own advantages and disadvantages. So the way that we're going to solve this problem for now is just with a simple callback, because this is something that we are already familiar with. Later on, we will revisit this approach and see if there is a better way of handling things. So here is what we are going to do. Inside this sign-in page, we are going to define a new callback. And rather than choosing a simple void callback like we have done before, we want to be able to pass the Firebase user that is returned inside the auth result variable. And the reason for this is that we want to store the Firebase user as a state variable inside our landing page. And this time, rather than using void callback like we have done before, I'm going to define my own custom callback as a final function with Firebase user. And then I'm going to call this on sign in like this. Now, this syntax is something that we haven't encountered before. And really all we are doing here is to define on sign in to be a function, which we define with a capital F. And then within brackets, we specify the argument types that this function takes. So in this case, it is just one argument of type Firebase user. Okay, so next we want to be able to specify this function as a required argument for the constructor of our sign-in page. So let's create our constructor. And here I can type SignInPage, and then I'm going to use curly braces, and here I can pass a required this.onSignedIn like this. And finally, we want to make sure that we call this callback when we have authenticated successfully with Firebase. So here we can delete this print line, and instead we can type in on sign in, and here we can pass auth result.user, which is our Firebase user instance. So this guarantees that the callback is called with the user that we can read after we sign in successfully. Okay, so let's continue on the next video.